Alright, so the next day we woke up at like 7:30, went and got breakfast, which was like ham and cheese sandwiches on really stale bread. Um, but the jam was delicious. So we like ate and then went to Pribilina, which is like it's like kind of cool in theory. It's like a museum town, so it's kind of like the old like a pilgrim town kind of things, like a I don't know, you know what I mean. So it was like a village that was supposed to have like people reenacting it in it, and like hanging out like it was the old Slovakia, um, and it was kind of cool because they took like houses from all over the country and then just like imported them into this little space. But there was like no one there at all except for us. There was like no one to work there, so basically we just wandered around this like little village kind of deal, and looked in houses, and we were like, oh, okay. There was like one building where these three old women were weaving. And that was actually really cool. And you could like buy what they've woven, but I never did. I didn't. Maybe I should have. Whatever. So we were like walking around. It was kind of boring, and then we went into this old mansion that was really creepy. Actually, there were like hundreds of dead animals just everywhere. It was like the town mansion, and it was just like dead animals everywhere. So it's kind of gross. Um, and we like took pictures in there, of course. And then we went to the church, and one of uh, the woman who like ran it told us that like asked if anyone played piano. Um, oh, you can hear the French outside my door. So right, so she asked if anyone could play piano, and one girl could like play a few songs, so she went to the like huge organ and played Evanescence, and I was like, oh come on, like I wish I could still play piano so I could like play something that's not horrible pop music in like this really nice organ in a church. Whatever. So it was pretty good though. And then we left there. I bought some honey, which I'm kind of thinking might be my new deal. Like it's kind of a cool souvenir to have. So I got that, and then I got some Slovakian smoked sheep cheese, which is like everywhere. I ate so much sheep cheese on this like vacation. It was ridiculous. So after that, we left for a while, and then we went to yeah, we went on the hike, which I was like dreading ever since I heard about the hike. I was like almost thinking of not going on this trip because it's just like all hiking, and I was like, oh god, I really don't want to do this. It's like a 6 hour hike. Like no, please God. But so we went on it, and the first part was walking to this one lake, and it was like all paved, and the itinerary says guided walk. So like people have been saying it was a hike, but like this says it was a walk, and I was like not really sure what was happening. So we were just like walking around, and it was like a little difficult, but not so bad. And then Jared was like, "Oh God, I wish we actually were like in the forest going for a hike." And I was like, "Well, I'm comfortable with this." But like right as he said that, our tour guide, who was like actually this really really awful obnoxious girl, which I can talk about later, um, she was like, "Oh, now we're gonna go on the hike," and I was like, "Oh God." So she pointed to the sign, and it was like the name of the hike, and then it said it was like the distance that we were going, and then next to it there's this red bar, and she was like, "Yeah, that means this is the most difficult." I was like, "Oh, why?" So so we started going up, like into the woods, up this path, and it was just it was just like a whoop path for like 45 minutes, like no, like flat for like 45 minutes. So I was dying a little bit. I was like, I don't want to do this. But I kept up pretty well. I was really afraid that I would be like holding people up because I'm a really slow hiker. But I was doing pretty well. So we finally took a break after the 45 minutes. And after that, it started going flat for a little bit more. And it was like a regular like trail path kind of thing. And then it started getting like more and more bouldery. Like the path stopped being dirt and just started being like rocks. Like some of them were very very loose rocks, and we just had to like walk on this for like an hour. So it was like really beautiful. We were pretty high up at that point after walking up for 45 minutes. Um, so I have a ton of pictures of that, and so we like stopped again after a while, and like started going down and then up and around and all this stuff. And we ended up at this huge lake. So let me see if I can. No, I don't know the name of the lake, but I can probably find it. Those pictures are on Facebook too. But so we got to this lake and it was really really wonderful. Um, it was like in hindsight, it was worth it. It was really really pretty. And then we started walking back. So we were planning on like going around, but then our tour guide was like, "Oh, well we've got enough time, so let's go back a little bit and then go down." I was like, "I hate you so much." She's like one of those like super perky people who like sprints up mountains. I'm like, I hate you. I hate you so so much. But whatever, let's go. So we were like walking downhill for like 2 hours. Maybe well no, it wasn't that long. It was like maybe an hour. Um, and we were just talking and like looking in the forest and all of this stuff. It was really beautiful. So we got back to our bus and then went back to our cabin, and we were all just like so exhausted, and everyone was like, "All right, we need to get some beer." So we're not actually sure how it happened, but like okay, so in the bus was set up where it was like double decker sort of. So the top was like regular bus, and that's where everyone sat except for like my group of people because we were really obnoxious and we sat in the bottom where there were tables. So next to us, like one of my friends was like, "Hey," to like the tour guide and the person in charge of the tour and the bus driver. He was like, "Hey, we need to stop somewhere so we can get alcohol," and and they're like, "Oh, we can't do that, but we'll like do something else." So they stopped for a while, and then they like we figured we were gonna go get out and like go to a supermarket or something, but they just like stopped, and uh, then just like backed up for a little bit, and then just kept driving, and we were like, "What are you doing? Like I don't understand." Um, so like when we got closer, our tour guide like came up to us and was like, "All right, €1 per beer." We were like, "What?" And she was like, "How many do you want?" And so people were like 10, 8, 6, whatever. So Jared and I split um, 10. And uh, she just like brought it out of this like ice um, chest in like right next to where we were sitting that was like hidden between some seats. We're like, okay. Um, so we had like alcohol, and then we went back to the restaurant, ate a little, and then went back to the cabin, and then a bunch of people ended up coming over and hanging out, like a couple French guys, and some like Polish girls. So we were hanging out in our room, playing drinking games, and having a lovely time. And we just, I don't know, hung out for a while. So that was really really fun. We went to bed at like maybe 2, and then we went to bed. So